Hello, everybody. We'll get started in just a few moments.
Hello.
Hello. Anyone has any thoughts they'd like to talk about today, please add that to the agenda.
Yes, I arranged the meeting with the Purity team from the CDF Foundation to be on our next meeting. Today they were meeting KubeCon. So
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So for the next meeting, we can have their presentation.
Awesome, that'd be great. All right, everybody, let's get started. Welcome to the October 25th edition of the BEST working group. Do we have anyone that is interested in helping us take notes today? Thank you, David. All right, looking at the list, I don't see any new friends. So we have a couple things to discuss. I see Christine added a new interesting item. And if anyone has any additional topics, please add them underneath the open section. Did Mr. Wheeler show up? He has not. All right. Well, a while back, if I could draw your attention to issue 97, we had talked about creating some type of document around compiler flags for C and C++. We've poked at it a couple times, and this is a possible effort that all or some of us could contribute to. And I was hoping David had shown up because there were some discussions on Slack or the mailing list about it. But barring that, I wanted to give an update that I have become connected to the open source education people within my organization. And they actually have training and documentation on not only C and C++ and C# best practices, but also compiler options. So I am going, we had a very exciting meeting, and they are very interested to potentially either donate or show that content to the group. So that could be something to help us kickstart this and get it moving forward. Any additional thoughts? Anyone really interested in helping out around compiler options as kind of a side little project? Randall.
I'm just interested.
Cool. Thanks. So hopefully we will have some more conversation around this, and we will be able to put something together around some potential recommendations around compiler flags. And
we
best
also have a
practices around
lot.
C and stuff.
We also have a lot of documentation, and I have most of the documentation for Clear Linux as well.
Cool. You may wish to contribute that to the document Mr. Wheeler has in issue 97, please.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. We had talked in the past about integrating CodeQL and SKF. And I want to know, is this something that we are actively taking steps towards? Do we need assistance on this? Do we want to provide periodic updates back to the group? I see that Daniel had flagged it for our next meeting. So I just want to know, do we want to talk about any progress around CodeQL and SKF today?
Yeah, I think actually my brother Ricardo was actually in contact with Xavier about it on the GitHub. So there were some discussions going on. Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, I can talk about it. In fact, hi Glenn. In fact, we hadn't made any progress since 2 weeks ago. In fact, Glenn was supposed to refresh the issue to make it more clear about what we want to do now, because what we want to do is a bit different than what we wanted to do in the past. What we want to do is just provide a box where the learner can do an exercise, like for example, hey, please identify all your dangerous things in this application, or please identify all the interested sources of this application, things like that, with CodeQL. But yeah, so status is that no progress so far on that. We didn't start.
Okay. Is this something you all would like to periodically report progress on, or just updates through the issue as you all are collaborating?
I think update through the issue would be good, and then just report when this is actually done, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. If we have a small MVP where we actually dry run it, then we will definitely do a short demo here. I also check with Ricardo actually what the status is, because I wasn't aware that I was part of the impediment actually. But yeah, let me check also with him, and then get this thing moving as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Mr. Wheeler, if you have a few minutes after the end of this call, I have an update I'd like to talk to you with.
I would be honored.
Awesome. Moving along, do we have any updates to issue 9, the memory safety languages issue? Anything more we want to discuss here?
I wasn't entirely sure what the what the request is. I mean, if it's the hey, we should encourage the use of memory safe languages within, say, some of our courses. I don't know about SKF, but the OpenSSF fundamentals course already suggests this with caveats, because rewriting multi-million-dollar programs is often not on anybody's radar. But we already encourage it. So what else are we? And there's a proposal to add it to the concise guide that was merged.
It was.
So I'm thinking that we're done.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I don't think so, but I wanted to give people on the call or in the group the opportunity to provide additional feedback. I agree. I think it's done.
Sounds pretty done.
Okay. So I will leave this open till the end of the day. If anyone has any feedback, please do add it to the issue. Otherwise, I will mark this as closed. Look at that. Making stuff happen. All right. And next up, Christine would like to talk about other types of developers. I yield the floor to you, ma'am.
All right, so as a quick context from the last meeting, there was a discussion around creating like specific or specialized content for the web developer. And then I brought up just kind of like a discussion item, like what about other types of developers? And so the action item on my end was to just go off and just start a list and potentially see where from this list we could have collaboration opportunities, or anyone within our group that had expertise that we could go off and then create specialized content for other types. So what I did in the document that I shared is I just created a starter list of other types of developers, just to seed the discussion, to see, okay, is this the direction we want to go to, and very quickly start maybe whittling down to which ones do we either have expertise or even just people kind of chime in and see what could be other places we could collaborate. Because I think with the web developer, we're thinking W3C, but for these other types, if people have expertise or opinions and like who could we potentially reach out and collaborate to. So that's where this this discussion should start. So I wanted to kind of go ahead and lead that.
It's a very nice, long, I think pretty thorough list. What are the group's thoughts? Do we like Christina's thinking, how she's laid things out? Any feedback for us?
And I can give like edit access to anyone who wants to. I wasn't sure what the protocol is.
We perhaps we write this up as an issue for everybody in our GitLab and link to it there.
Okay, so kind of
Folks
like,
can see it.
all right, so point to this document from an issue.
Yeah, and just kind of talk about what we're looking for. Just we're looking for feedback on the categories, and does anybody have, for example, expertise with mobile development that they were interested in collaborating with us?
Okay. Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Cool. And I'll note while everybody is gazing upon the list and preparing their feedback, I've been working with Daniel Torgo, and the OpenSSF and the W3C are probably going to collaborate on some type of conference or workshop in early 2023 focused on web developers and security. So I'll be definitely, once that idea starts to come more to fruition, we'll bring that back to the group to talk with everybody and see if we can get some contributions. So does anyone have any feedback for Christine's excellent start?
Yes, hi, this is Arno. Sorry, I have connection problems, so I hope you guys can hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you.
I was surprised by the software development engineering test. I mean, the fact that the engineer part actually that surprises me, because there are engineers are not in every category. And so I'm not sure why you have engineer there. But I mean, just so I don't sound too negative, I think this is an amazing list you got already. So good job on that.
Yeah, I took the, thanks for the feedback. I took the list from some of the sources, and that's kind of how they named it. And other places, they might call it like QA developer or QA engineer. I guess it depends on who thinks about it. So yeah, we could always change the name or whatever it is people understand it to be.
Mr. Russo.
If I could suggest, maybe it would be good to, as Christine suggested, open up access to that document after she creates the issue, and then invite people to put their feedback, so we can capture the document. Then, either the subgroup can review it, or if she wants to review it with a larger group, we have the capacity to do that as well.
Okay. Should I make it like write access to anyone inside of it? Is that not normal?
If you desire, yes.
Okay.
That makes it easier. If you just want to do comment, that's another way. That's less easy.
I'd rather open it up. I just didn't know if people have like only people who request access get access. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
I see David Wheeler excitedly typing away about the mainframe.
Got me. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out about back end, but it's obviously a term that's in use. There's a complication of, and they really only mean software systems, and maybe I should just emphasize that there.
Any additional feedback?
I would add internationalization. Oops, sorry.
Go ahead, Arno.
I would add internationalization.
Is that a development methodology or area?
well, there are people, that's all they do pretty much, right? Internationalization, they make sure that your program can be, they can support multiple languages and
Okay.
writing in all the directions and all that stuff. I know people, I have friends who work in that space. That's all they've done all their career.
That's true.
Just yeah. I just want to clarify the goal, right? The goal is to identify all the different types, to then decide if each of these types need a specific need specific best practices, documents, need specific training, etc. for security, right?
That is correct. That was
Okay.
the goal.
So okay, so I guess when we have this list, then we for each of these we identify if they need something specific or not, right? And then we will, I guess, prioritize which ones are the most important to begin with, and then we will create this content, right?
Yes, and I believe the
Okay.
prioritization will depend also on if there's like expertise within this group, or if there's like partners we can
Of course.
identify that could
Of
help.
course,
Yes.
of course, of
Yes.
course, of course. Okay, good, thank you.
Any additional thoughts?
I wrote in the chat if maybe low code and integration development, is that a different type of persona than the customization, the last one, or is it a new one?
That's, yeah, if there's some examples that are not in that list, because sometimes low code could be like something like you're building on top of, like, say, a ServiceNow or Shopify could be like low code, but I'm not sure if it could be its own thing as well.
Okay, so I will add it
Yeah.
to the skills there.
Yes.
Thank you, Avishai. And thank you, Christine. Excellent job. Very excited about this. This will be, I think, very useful for us going forward. And as once it's opened up, please provide additional feedback, and especially if you can contribute to that area, or you know of a person, entity, or group that we might want to work with on that. That'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, and I've opened up access, by the way.
Excellent. But before we go, are these really types of developers or types of development? I mean,
Types of developers, I believe.
I mean, if you're a full stack developer, if you're you can't be a game developer. I mean, that doesn't seem right.
I don't know if they're exclusive to each other, Dan.
Right. That's what it looks like, is that you it's like you pick a class in a role playing game and you can't switch. Some of us multi-class.
Right.
So
I don't know that they're exclusive, but there's potentially things, within game development. There might be certain tools or methodologies that are there that you wouldn't necessarily do if you were developing for database.
I agree with that. It's the terminology here. It's the implied exclusivity of, if you're this type, you're not that type.
Well, you read it that way. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, and potentially we could add some exposition underneath the title before the table to kind of explain our intention. That might be.
Yeah. Okay.
These are like different hats that people can have, right? And so they can switch hats every now and then.
Yes, because I've done mobile development, then did web development, then game development. So it just depended on the phase. But I'll add something under the title.
Okay.
But does it address your concern, David, if we change developers to development in the title?
It might, or just mentioning in the text. Let's start with that, and we can always try to figure out name games later. But if we can say something in the text right below it, I think that'll at least address the concern.
Okay.
All right. Any additional feedback on our developer types?
I feel like the graphics one can almost apply to all driver development.
Mhm.
All right. Does anyone have any additional topics we would like to discuss today? All right. Yes, Glenn.
Well, I was just wondering, we still have this getting an ancient artifact that we created in the past. There was this DevOps loop thing
Mhm.
for our one-pager page. Is this still something we want to, yeah?
I'd like to see it. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't control the group. I just
Nope.
help prod us different directions. What's the group think?
Here's what I found.
That's right, Siri. That's what I found.
Yeah, but before we exit, I don't know if you went through the various projects updates.
We did.
Yeah, okay. So the fundamentals course, we did add the AIML, but I am having some annoying problems getting Markdown lint actually working as a GitHub action. It should be a click and go, and I had multiple problems. Like, oh, come on, it can't be that hard. So if somebody's already done that and can give me the quick key afterwards, that would be awesome.
Okay.
So,
I know Randall does a lot with linting.
okay. Randall?
Yeah. Yes, I can help you with that, David.
That would be awesome. It's just, I'm sure I could eventually figure it out, but it was the 30-second task that grew to multiples, and I said, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
So somebody's already figured out the incantation would be greatly welcome.
Yes, I've used the super linter the few times, and then I've implemented a few other ones too. But yeah, let me know what you need. Send me the repo, and I'll take a look at it.
Awesome, thank you. It's okay. I think I've got your email or something.
Yeah, and you have me on Slack too.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, no problem.
All right. Any additional topics we'd like to discuss today? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for your time and attention and your contributions. Thank you to Christine for that awesome list. That's going to get us rolling. Everyone is free to drop. I'm going to talk with David briefly about compiler options. If anyone's curious about that, you could hang on. But thank you all. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you.
Sure, man.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Wheeler.
Yeah. So yes. How can I help?
Well, I might help you, sir.
Oh, goody. I always like that direction.
I know. That happens so rarely.
Oh man, it's not true, but thank you.
So you remember our little project around the compiler options for C and C++?
Yes, indeed.
So we were asked. I saw that Torgo had flagged that as an update for this call. I have an update for you.
Oh, excellent.
I met with some of the folks within Intel. Specifically, we have a whole center of excellence that does secure open source training. Whole group of people that do that. I didn't even know it existed, and they found me, and they were super excited about this group. And the dude was kind of explaining, like, hey, we've made content, or we have people working on content, like all this stuff. And I had noticed right off the bat that first off, they are either have or are writing best practices for C, C++, C# development.
Okay.
So I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I saw they also had a compiler options little working group working on documenting compiler options like we have.
Got
here.
it. Okay.
So in our conversations, the dude was very excited that we exist and wanted to know how can those experts within Intel get engaged and
Okay.
potentially donate content. And then the reverse, how can they learn from us and kind of intake good practices inside of Intel? But I was more excited about the former,
Right.
about they might be able to donate compiler flag things for us and potentially good practices around a bunch of, they have a very similar, Intel has a lot of very similar languages that we use by default. So they have a lot of documentation around C and Java and JavaScript and all this stuff. So we might be able to potentially get that content directly donated or shown to us that we can make our own version.
Build on. That would be awesome. Now, the Intel one, is it focused just on the Intel compilers or is it more general? Do you know?
Don't know yet. I had a call yesterday and I'm going to meet with them next week when I'm back. I'm going to a conference today.
Okay.
But I'm going to meet with them and kind of talk and kind of see where the but they've been meeting for a couple of years now. And so they have a body of work that they potentially are interested in contributing to us.
Okay.
So, education, great. David and Chris are really happy about that. But best practices, Dave and Krobe might love this compiler option thing.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. I had a brief, by the way, for some reason, my camera has decided that today is not a good day. So it goes on and it blinks right off. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Would love to see it. Especially if it's more than, even if it's just the Intel compilers, that would be of interest, but if they've looked more broadly and they certainly could, that'd be helpful. I got some interesting nibbles from Red Hat a while back on compiler flags.
The Fedora document.
I referenced it, but of course they've got some other folks who know some of these other things. So I think and there are of course some other docs that the current draft does cite. There's one in particular, a group who actually didn't do a bad job of at least starting down this path. I suspect, and this is David thinking out loud here, but in the end, we probably need more than just a doc because as you look through it says, oh my gosh, there's a gazillion of these. Just let me copy and paste the list. So basically something where you insert this line somewhere and it does the things, and a little guidance on how to do that. And then the doc is basically the justification for it and explaining, when you say, hey, I don't want to do, I might not want to do that. Well, here's why you might or might, here's what that's all about without having to read every compiler's docs. So yeah.
Thinking about the other projects we have going on, maybe this is something that we have a module or something in the future classes we're making. Definitely something we probably could do like a podcast or a webinar on.
Yeah.
I think people would be interested. I think it'd be useful to kind of share what we've learned.
Yeah, and most of the distros have had to run down this path at least at one time. So that's where I got a lot of the sources of information as I looked at least Debian's and Fedora's, and I think there were some others too, but those are the ones that came to mind. But
I'm surprised SUSE doesn't have one.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
On the ball.
I don't remember offhand. They may very well. But of course, it's the kind of thing where everybody kind of, you look over your shoulder, but I think people basically do it and then they go off and do other things and occasionally come back to it. And of course, the compilers keep adding new stuff. I think one of the bigger challenges is that different compile, if you don't, nobody knows all the nobody. Many people use a compiler, and that's the one that they know most about. So, and if you could see me, you could see me move my hands up in the air.
Yeah. Maybe that's even something that we do a couple podcasts and invite some of the maintainers of the big ones in just to kind of talk about things in general. I think that would be interesting. Not everybody gets into this, and it's probably.
Oh no, this is specialized stuff.
Kind of thing. You know what? Useful to explain and share.
this may become maybe something where we want to make a short-term SIG to at least make a, okay, we're gonna gather the people together, make this thing, and then update as you go along. But but if it's reasonable to start with, then people are more likely to maintain it because it's in all one place.
Yep.
So yeah. So anyway, I think this the C and C++ one is more because it's good for all, but for memory unsafe languages, it's especially important to turn on
Right.
as many flags as you possibly can get away with. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I was
Alrighty.
really super excited about that. We potentially could have an influx of contributors and content. I was excited to
Right.
finally make that connection.
Yeah, I'm really glad because of course we started this a while ago, but there's only so many hours in the day, so and you know what, I think we've gotten some good things done. Now let's pick up the next ball.
Exactly. All right.
All right.
Well,
Anything else?
no, I'm good. Thank you much.
Awesome.
I'm going to be talking all about you today to the government.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking to DHS. There's an industry thing where I'm presenting on how the government can develop and use open source software more effectively.
Oh, where in DHS?
The office of the CIO, I think.
Okay.
There's a whole list of a whole litany. The OPO, CISA will be there. So there's a whole bunch of folks.
Oh, okay. Cecil will be there too. Okay, excellent.
So I'm going to talk about all the stuff we're doing.
Yeah, DHS is quite an amalgamation of different groups. So
yeah, but they're the mothership now of CISA, right? They own CISA.
Yeah, they do. But they own a whole bunch of different orgs, which historically were completely unrelated, independent. So, and I don't think they fully ingested, even though it's been about 2 decades. So
they're going to get a whole dose of best practices and class stuff. So wish me luck.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Excellent. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.